Hey Floss Tube, it's Jules. It's November 18th, maybe? 19th, 18th, 19th? It's Sunday morning, and it's a Sunday morning for our Thanksgiving, and it is a beautiful day outside here in Colorado. We got up super early this morning and had to go to the store, get a bunch of stuff done so I could go ahead and get this video done. Now, I had a suggestion, or a question, or a request, I should say, in the last stitch along. Somebody wanted to actually see a better, closer version of me actually stitching, and I said, hey, why not? So I've kind of finagled my camera set up a little bit, or my phone set up a little bit differently here, and so I'm just gonna stitch here on, this is Rainy Waterloo Place, and you can see how, I mean, relatively little I have to do on this, and I have quite a lot of stitching from a standpoint of, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm almost wondering if I'm upside down. Will it matter if I'm upside down on this? I don't think it will. I'll record it. I mean, the way I see it, I don't think it'll matter, because like that's my top and that's my bottom, so I just reverse, but it doesn't really matter, I suppose. But what I decided to do with this was I have so much of one color to do that I thought this would be a good project to kind of try out with this method today. So I got my trusty 535, and I'm just gonna try to figure out, trying to get started here, see what I can do. Hopefully without making too many mistakes, since you guys will be looking so closely at my stitching. Alrighty. But let's just get started here. I hope you guys are having a good weekend. And you got your, here we go. And you got your favorite project or project you need to work on, getting that going here. This isn't bad. I just have to remember not to get too close to the camera. Combine it being easier for me and easier for you guys to see what I'm doing, so it's no worries. This one. So we had a very busy Saturday. I had to work. Came home. We ran out and saw Justice League, which was good. I'll talk about that more in a second. And then afterwards, we had dinner at our favorite Indian restaurant, which was very good. And got home last night and was just super tired. I got some stitching done here on Rainy Waterloo Place, but outside of that, honestly, I've been so tired lately. I've been going to bed at like, what times? Like 9 o'clock at night. I'm not going to sleep at 9, but I'm usually asleep by 10. But I like it. I get up early, got plenty of energy. I'm starting to convert into my older person time. I used to have such severe insomnia when I was younger, in my 30s. And I would be up till like 2, 3 o'clock at night. I just could never get myself to go to sleep. My brain just would not shut down. And melatonin helped that a lot. And honestly, also just getting a routine, a schedule, helped a lot too. So, but after my husband and I got married and moved in together, he's a very early riser. He's traditionally like by 6 he's up, and I think he's converting me to an early riser myself, which I think is a good thing personally. I get more done during the day, obviously. I'd rather go to bed a little earlier, get up a little earlier, get things done, but we'll see. We'll see how that continues. But Justice League was good. No spoilers. I won't spoil anything for you if you haven't seen it yet, but definitely better than what a lot of people are out there. I think a lot of people were trashing the film kind of needlessly, perhaps because it wasn't what they wanted it to be, but I'm a believer that movies are what they are, and you take what the producer, director, whatnot is giving you, and do you like it? I mean, try not to have any with a lot of these movies nowadays, I try not to have any expectations about how good they're going to be and whatnot. And the only movie that I can't really temper my expectations on is the Star Wars movies, because I love them so much. I want so bad for them to be good. And so we'll see. We shall see. Oh, so I wanted to let you guys know that I haven't made a formal announcement yet, but a formal announcement. But I have a blog that I started. And I finally got it up and running enough last week that I felt like, okay, somebody else can come take a look at this, tell me what they think, see if it's, what needs to be changed. It's just a very simple blog. There is a page for, obviously, the blog, and then there is a page for, the cross-stitching pattern websites that I like, where I've gotten my patterns from. And I hope on that page I can eventually put more links and add more, places for people to go and check out and whatnot if they wanted to. But I just, I love talking to you guys so much, and you guys comment all the time, and, and part of the problem is that a lot of the questions that you ask, well, it's not a problem. It's never a problem for you to ask questions. But the questions that you ask, I'm always like, oh, man, if I had a blog, I would totally be able to, answer those more fully sort of in a blog, or by explaining more of this or that or whatever's going on. I answer your questions before you even have to ask them. And so far, what I've done on the blog is just put some stories up about, or wrote some posts about, sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I get the right spots here, about my stitching, about the different pieces. I did a story yesterday on the Cross Stitch Collectibles website and the patterns that I have from that site. And it's ironic, because as much as I love that site, I realized that I've barely started any of the patterns I bought from them like a decade ago, which is just silly. It's totally silly, but definitely gives me incentive to do more. So anyway, it's stitchingjewels.com, just like my name here. And feel free to check it out. Let me know what you think. I mean, my life is so consumed by cross-stitching that I just have to, I have to have a creative outlet at times. I actually used to, a long time ago, years ago, did like a freelance sports writing thing. And that was a lot of fun. I learned a lot about writing at that time, and it, I did like freelance stuff on Yahoo, and wrote a bunch of things about like the Broncos and the Rockies, Colorado Rockies, the baseball team, and just some different things like that. And I did it for a couple of years, and it was pretty successful. And but I just kind of ran out of oomph, and it was just taking up way too much time. And I was sort of burned out on it. So, because it was like 40 hours on top of my regular job, which is stressful enough as it was. But it was an experience. I really enjoyed it. It taught me how to make a basic website. Taught me a lot about writing blog posts. Taught me about things like SEO, which is search engine optimization, so that your stuff that you do shows up high enough on things. And honestly, if you were to search like Peyton Manning neck injury or neck surgery or something like that, probably on the first page, some of my articles would pop up. because of the fact that he was going through his neck problems. Peyton Manning was a quarterback who played in the NFL, basically, played for the local team here. And, sorry guys, I gotta do this a little closer. And he ended up having to have a neck fusion, like I had to have a neck fusion. And so because I had all kinds of experience, all right, what did I do with my scissors? Oh, there they are. Because I had all kinds of experience in my own right, just because of all the surgeries that I had been through, I had a certain level of authority to be able to speak about what he was going through, what was going on, what the symptoms were feeling like. I could, and I have the medical background, so I could totally, try to explain things. And it was at a time where, there weren't a lot of people that could speak intelligently about exactly what was wrong with him and why he was struggling and what he had done and blah, 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 all this other stuff. And so, it filled a niche and people read it a lot, but it was cool. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it while it was, while I was doing that part of it, and then it just kind of got to be too much. But because I am sort of, as you can tell, especially with my cross stitching, that I don't do things half. If I love something, I do not do it halfway. I kind of get full on obsession. It's just my personality, for better or for worse. And thankfully, my husband is incredibly understanding and supportive. And it's like, yeah, sure, do this, do that, please, yeah. It's awesome. Because, too often if you have an idea or you want to try something or you want to make a leap to do something, a lot of people are, especially if they don't understand what's going on or what you want to do or trust that you are excited about it. Even if you fail at something, the experience is so valuable that you should just 100%, I don't know, just, try things. Why not? Well, I mean, what's it going to hurt, So, like, say I do this blog and it crashes or nobody sees it or I get, tired or whatever, and, I mean, I don't plan on it because, shoot, I've been doing this for over a decade, but I don't know. Say it fails in some way. Say the internet crashes and it's gone or whatever, and so big deal. I'll try something else some other time, and no big deal. But I like having all these different experiences because part of it is by having all these different experiences, I have all kinds of crazy stories that I can tell you guys. And I got a lot of crazy stories. A lot of crazy stories. Hold on a second. Which way did I go? Which way did I go? See, lack of focus. Lack of focus. All right, here we go. So, one of the things I'm going to talk to you guys about, I'm going to see how you all feel about this. But my genetics are such that I have really high cholesterol, have always had high cholesterol. It's definitely a genetic thing for me. My entire family has high cholesterol, and a history of heart disease and all these different things and whatnot. And I've been on medicine for forever, and even on medicine, like my LDL is still like twice as high as it should be, if not higher. And I tried a variety of different diets and things like that. And back when I was exercising a lot, when I could exercise a lot, and doing all that, and in that process, it just barely would ever budge. Just nothing ever budged. And not only that, but being on a diet stinks, man. I mean, you know, if you're like, you're cutting calories or you're only eating certain things, you know, I mean, it's hard. It's really, really hard to like train yourself to just eat this, not that, especially if you have cravings and things like that. And I've always had issues with craving sweet things and whatnot. So I just, you know, I just kind of no, I wouldn't say gave up, but definitely got myself in a position where I was just like, yeah, well, you know what, I'll just take my medicine. What happens is what happens. And so, but I stumbled upon this thing on YouTube, of course, and hold on a second. I can make sure I'm doing this right. All right, good. It's called intermittent fasting, and some of you probably have heard of it. Maybe some of you already do it, but it is completely, it seems to be completely what I need. And it's something that is easy for me to do. And I feel so much better since I started doing it. But what it is, it's not a diet. It's just a changing the timing of when you eat. So I don't even know exactly how to call it. I mean, because it's not like you're necessarily not eating certain things or not drinking certain things, but it's just when you do it. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. And what I do is the 16-8, which is where at about 8 o'clock at night, anything after 8 o'clock at night it has to only be water. And then when I wake up in the morning the next day, I can only have water until it has to be at least noon before I can eat. And now after that noon, so between noon and 8, I can eat, I can drink, you know, whatever. You get better results if you eat more healthy, if you don't, you know, eat a bunch of fast food and things like that. But the theory basically is that by giving yourself that fasting time, you are taking away a lot of the work that the intestinal tract or your GI tract has to do, and giving it a rest, pushing your body to not rely so much on sugar stores or sugar in your bloodstream for energy, but to literally, like, if you go that long without eating, basically your body needs fuel. So at some point it'll shift over to start burning fat, especially out of your liver. And I'm not explaining this great because I haven't reached a point with it where I could, you know, I don't know it perfectly. Hold on. See, I'm trying to stitch and do this at the same time, which doesn't always work out. I don't know it 100% yet, but if you just search for the videos and stuff online, they explain it really well. But the whole goal basically is, the way I feel like it helps me out is that it better regulates my insulin levels in my body. Because I've always felt like I have way too much insulin. So what happens is when I eat, the insulin in my body just immediately sucks all that sugar into my cells and very quickly puts me in a mild hypoglycemic area and makes me hungry again. Because, I mean, my appetite can be just ridiculous, especially in, you know, if I'm eating higher carb things like rice or pasta or things like that. I mean, I just get hungry so fast. And so dogs are all wrestling and downstairs. I can hear them. So anyway, so it basically gives everything a chance to rest, and there are so many benefits to it. They've done a lot of studies with like people who are fasting through Ramadan, which is the Muslim or the Islamic the fasting period that they have. Is it September, I think, when they can't eat while the sun is up. So they fast all day and then they can eat at night. And so they looked at like body chemistry, cholesterol levels, all these different things for these people, and found that so many parameters improved. Your triglycerides improved. Your body takes more fat out of the blood to use for energy. Liver improves. Your cholesterol improves. Your body starts to just, by burning more fat for sugar, I mean, you just feel better. And I'm explaining this horribly wrong. Like I'm doing a terrible job of explaining it. But the combination of obviously drinking more water and eating at a specific time has made me feel so much better. Like yesterday, honestly, I did a 23-hour fast and I was totally fine. Friday night we had dinner, and at about 7 or 8 o'clock I was just like, man, I don't really feel like doing anything else. And I just, at that point, sorry guys. At that point, I was like, all right. And I went to bed early because I was really tired. Woke up the next morning, yesterday morning, got my water, went to work, stayed busy. Didn't really get hungry. A little bit hunger here and there, and I just drank some water, and then it went away. I felt fine. I didn't feel like I was, weak or anything like that. I felt good. Basically didn't have anything until we had dinner, and then just ate the, Indian dinner, and came home. I did have a little diet soda when I came home, just as like a dessert kind of a thing, a little sweet tasting thing. But then that was it. I'm going to run out of space here. Let me just start over here. And I've been sort of starting it for the last month, actually. It's so easy for me to do, but I've also been a little undisciplined in the sense of I have not really been exercising very much through it. I've been cheating at times. And when I initially started doing it, I had a period where I felt kind of weak, or I felt weird. I felt like I absolutely had to have something to eat, to feel better. And I definitely feel like with women, you can't really start it cold turkey. It can sometimes kind of mess with your hormones a little bit. So if you're very sensitive to hormonal changes, it may or may not be good for you, or it might settle everything down. It's hard to say how your body would adjust. But now I feel like I've kind of gotten on a routine here where I just, I don't even think about food that much, but when I do go to eat, man, food tastes so good. I think that's why I raved and raved about that barbecue place last week. Oh man, because when I do go to eat, my taste buds are just on fire, and everything tastes so good, which I think is pretty awesome. So my problem has just been, my biggest issue, there's a couple issues that I have, and the reason why I have not been as good and have not seen as good of results on this as I should have already. I've got to make sure that I watch what I eat. I don't eat too much junk. And I got to make sure that after 8, that I'm definitely just drinking water. Sometimes I'm still drinking soda till I go to bed at 9:30. And that definitely does make a difference. It is if the last thing I have is something that has, and even diet soda is bad on this, or at least, it would break your fast if you had some during your fast because of the artificial sweetener. It mimics sugar enough that it would mess with your insulin levels, and then your hunger level goes up, and you're just, forget it. You're done for that day. But I'm hopeful that out of all the positive benefits that this fasting thing seems to bring, I'm hoping that it can actually normalize my cholesterol and make me healthier, and on the way to there, drop some weight. We always want to drop some weight, especially the weight that's so hard to lose once you reach a certain age. But so that's my story, sticking to it. But honestly, I actually kind of enjoy the process, which is crazy. It's not, like I said, it's not a diet. You're not restricting yourself. I mean, I'm going to highlight right now. So, you're literally just taking your food at different times, but you're still eating. You're not really caloric restricted. Although I do find that I eat less, and I don't have the sugar cravings. When we went to the Indian place last night, it's always been a case of there's a great little cookie place right next door to it, and we always get cookies there. And I just didn't really want a cookie, which is like, that was a first, that I didn't want a cookie. And so, yeah, I just don't have the cravings that I used to. So that's a good thing. Anyway. Hopefully I'm going to get enough of this done here during this stitch along that when I pull in the other colors that I'm going to work on, that I can actually make some big progress with the rest of it. Getting close to finishing this page. I'm so excited. But I didn't get I got very little stitching done, and it was last night after we got home. And then thinking about getting some stitching done today. Of course I'm going to get some stitching done today. I think I'm going to park myself in front of the TV again for some football, and probably work on Old World Map 2 today. Get a bunch more done on it, I hope. We'll see. I got a snaggerific issue here. Ah! Well, that wasn't good. I gotta get myself organized. Oh, speaking of disorganization, oh my goodness. Oh, hey, by the way, guys, I finished God Save the Queen. I finished it the night I put the video up, so super excited about that. And I started trying to finish also Prayer of St. Francis, and problem with that one is, sorry guys, here we go, is I can't find a couple of colors, so, oh well. No, I'm just not, no, I shouldn't say that. I got on Etsy, found there's a couple people that were selling the thread, so I bought some yesterday, or Friday night or yesterday, and I'll have it I should have it this week before the video, but if I don't have it before the video, then, I basically have less than a week to finish that one project, so it's all good. You can see I have a snag, and I don't care about this snag. It's a tiny snag. It's right here. It's a tiny snag, and it's not causing a problem. It's catching just a little bit, but it's otherwise not causing a problem. I couldn't get it out, so I'm leaving it, and actually it's gotten a little smaller, and because this is 14 count Aida, it's pulling through the little stitch holes very easily, so I'm not worried about it at this point, and hopefully I'm just going to hide it coming up here in a minute. But I have a 4-day weekend coming up. I'm going to take Thursday and Friday, and then the weekend. So I need to make a list of all the things that I want to do, but I got a lot of things on the to-do list. I want to make a new video of how I do these big full coverage pieces, like literally like how to go about getting the fabric, how to know how much fabric to get, basically for someone who maybe has just been doing some smaller projects, or maybe just getting into cross stitch, and is like, you know, that's, I want to do one of these big pieces, you know, and so walk them through the organization of how you get your threads, you know, just how you keep everything together, how you go about it, and show them at least the way that I do it. And I have a video out there right now, but it's not, it wasn't, I want to do one that's a little bit easier to explain. Okay, now, is that where my, oh no, that's fine. There's my little thingy, my little nubby nub. Now, can I pull it through? No, I can't. You guys were waiting to see that, weren't you? You're like, it's not gonna go through. Look out. Alright. Uh-oh. What did I do? Oh, I'm fine. Everything's fine here. Nothing to see. Nothing to see here. Ah, Jules. What are you doing, you silly goose? What am I doing? Holy cow. I see what I did. Okay. Let's just frog this a little bit here. I'm still kind of tired today. I need some caffeine, but I can't have any caffeine until closer to noon, or noon, I should say. But see, this is my problem, is I'm like, well, if I start feeling like I need some, I may just get some, because I got a lot of stitching to do today. Alright.